Time for another Roo tale. This happened not to me, but to a friend of mine. Happened in Australia, where I used to live. And my friend Stevo. Stevo was an iron worker, and he was a good iron worker, did a lot of work around and about in Australia. And he was doing some work for a company that had a blast furnace. And so he was on the top of the blast furnace, and they had guardrail, they had posts and guardrail run around the top of the blast furnace, and that was great. So they were up on top of this blast furnace doing some work, and in the course of what he was doing, he leaned against one of the posts. Now, under normal circumstances with guardrail posts, that wouldn't be a problem. But in this particular incident, whoever had put the guardrail up had not sufficiently welded the bottom of the guardrail post. And because they hadn't, it broke off under his weight. Well, when it broke off, he fell. And he fell down 22 feet to the deck below. In between his falling from the top of the blast furnace down to this deck that was 22 feet below, he hit his head on a beam and spun him around and then slammed him down to the deck. Now, here's the result of that. He went into shock, badly injured. They had to get him down off of the deck. They put him in the medic unit. They took him to the hospital. His body was so traumatized as a result of this fall that he flatlined it 4 different times before they could get him back and get him stabilized. His head was damaged so badly that they had to go in after the fact and put a plate in there. So he had a big piece of plate in the back of his head because that's where he had hit the beam on his way down. It destroyed his left side. He lost his kneecap. He was ultimately permanently disabled as a result of this particular accident. Now, here's the lesson as far as the safety goes. All of this occurred simply because someone who was supposed to be putting safety posts in didn't finish the job. Instead of welding the safety post piece of angle all the way around at the bottom, they only welded it partially, and when he leaned on it, he was a reasonable sized guy, a couple of 100 pounds, tall guy, 6'1". So when he leaned against it, it just put enough pressure on that post that the post snapped off, and of course then he lost his balance. Now, he should have been okay, but in the sense that he should have been okay working within a guardrail setup like that, so there wasn't any real need for him to have been tied off if the guardrail post would have held. But the guardrail post didn't hold, and so Stevo fell, hit his head, messed his head up, messed his left side up because that's where he landed, was never able to work again. That was the end of his career as an iron worker, all because of a simple failure on the part of someone else to complete the job when they should have done a full job of welding out that safety post. So little things like that can make a very, very big difference. And so my encouragement to you is, when you're doing these kind of tasks, that you complete the job. Make sure you finish what you start, and make sure you do a good job so that someone else coming behind you, like Stevo, doesn't end up getting themselves injured so badly that they can never work again as a result of the fact that somebody ahead of them didn't do the right thing, didn't finish out the job, didn't make sure things were the way they should be. So keep that in mind. We're all doing tasks like this all the time, putting up safety railing, putting up safety posts, getting rat lines set up. Let's make sure when we do a good job, complete the job, so we make it safe for the people that follow us and are depending on us to do a good job.